Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. My name is Jade, and this is How to Haq on iOS. It's the weekend edition. Why? I don't know. Because today, finally, we're taking a look at SolderBox by Bram Bos and Jakob Haq. Get ready to have your mind melted. Hi, my name is Jade, and this is How to Haq on iOS, and I hope you're doing okay. So normally I wouldn't do a show here on the weekend, but look, this is not a regular thing, so don't get too comfortable with it. I love my days off, but I just want to explain how we got here and why I'm doing a live stream for this app where I had been working on a pre-recorded demo for the last few days. Well, this app is complicated. If you are somebody who is not a modular person, and I am not a modular person, and we're going to explain what a modular person is shortly, but let's say hello to people who are here with us today on this lovely Saturday for me, Friday for the rest of you. There's a whole heap of entertainment coming up. If you're watching this on the replay, don't pay any attention. You've probably missed everything. But today, on this day, there's heaps of entertainment around this community after this show. Hello, Leela. Welcome to the show. Mr. Smith, g'day, g'day. We've got Pole Vault in the house. Russ, what's going on? Justine Kasprick, much love to you. Always, always, always. And who else do I see? Rich, g'day. Oh, man. Gladys. Some people got upset and unsubscribed. Oh, well, it is what it is. Garage Band covers. Hello, hello. Chad Freeman, g'day, g'day. Thanks to Valerie for sending some people over. Great. It's always fantastic. See, I normally love waking up or just laying in bed and watching Valerie. Ooh, but today it was a little bit different. I had to get up and do this. All right. I'll try and catch up with people as we go on. Hello, Steve. G'day, g'day. Yeah, Gladys drove away some people. I think some people missed the description that said this is parody. It's not real. And yeah, anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. So let me explain why I'm doing a live stream for this. So SolderBox is, and now there's two ways you can say this. If you're in America, it's SolderBox. The L is missing. Yeah, this is a thing. I've always wondered why Americans have their own brand of English. Remember, English. For the rest of us, it's SolderBox. And that's all cool too. It doesn't really matter how you say it. It's how you use it that counts. Oh, yeah. Got it today. Comedy. So now Jakob Haq is a fantastic creator. Yeah, absolutely amazing creator. He has a wonderful YouTube channel. There's a link up the top there to watch his demo on this, which is fantastic. It's so in-depth, it'll melt your brain, right? If you're not a modular person. But I've watched it so many times, I think I know it word for word. Seriously, thank the universe for, don't thank the universe for me, do you? But I love you, Justine. So now, and Bram Bos make fantastic apps too. I love Bram Bos apps. So having Jakob Haq and Bram Bos together, mwah, what a fantastic concept. Now, recently, Jakob Haq has moved more so into the world of modular synthesis. So what is modular synthesis, I hear say? You've probably seen these things before, these huge, bulking, old school, like computers they look like. So a synthesizer is made up of modules. Funnily enough, if you've ever used a synthesizer, you would have seen this. You know, you've got LFOs, you've got a whole bunch of modules that make up your synthesizer. Your oscillators, right? Your envelopes, all of this stuff, they're individual modules. And before we got, pre-packaged computers, pre-packaged like synthesizers that we have now, which makes life so much easier, well, these things were in modules. They were scientific equipment. They made bleeps and bloops. They were made with control voltages and pulses and all of this kind of stuff. And that's how synthesis came about. And it was all these pieces of equipment with cables running into each other. You've probably seen the thing before, yeah? Cables going everywhere, and it looks very confusing. And it is a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But that is the basis of synthesis. This is the thing that gives us now the ability to buy pre-made synthesizers and have everything all just easily in our pockets. But it still is the same principle of control voltages and all that, but just all in an easy package without all the little plugs. There's a lot of people out there who just love to dabble, and that's part of the fun. And look, don't ever take anything I say of like, you know, I wouldn't do it. I just don't understand it. I'm sure if I got enough pieces of equipment and had the time, I would probably once you fall down any rabbit hole, you'd get into it and just like the fish tank I bought a week ago that I'm now in love with and constantly building up, and there'll be lights and everything in it in the next few days. It's a hobby, and you know, these people make great music with it. But for the rest of us, we sit there and go, I don't know what this is. And I've struggled with it for a long time. Now, remember when I started this channel, getting on 4.5 years ago, I knew nothing about synthesizers. I'm a metalhead, you know, but over time, I've been able to learn and grow with all of you and understand synthesis and hopefully convey to my knowledge what it is and get better with all of you, yeah? So, hello, covered by CQ. Who have I missed? Have I missed anyone? Martin Kelly, g'day. So I was starting to make this video, this pre-recorded video, and I'd been working on it for days. I was trying to be a little bit clever, but the more I worked on it, the more I felt like, how can I convey my journey of me understanding this? Because I think that's a really important part of this. A lot of the time you don't see me learning these apps and trying to understand how they work. And it can take a lot of time if you kind of starting at zero and you've got to get something done in a short amount of time and then present it to people. And not all the demos that are out there have gone in depth as much as Jakob's video. And trust me, I'm not going to go fully in depth as Jakob's video, but I want to show how, like, my journey of how I understand modular synthesis from using this, what I've learnt from it, and share it with you, because the app is incredible. There's no doubt about it. And you don't need to really understand modular synthesis to work this app. So remember that. That's not a thing. You can pick this up straight out the box, start playing with it, and make some really, really cool sounds. So don't get scared about it. And again, this is another reason I want to show my process to take some of the sting out of the fear some people may have, like myself, right? It just is what it is. So it is available on all iOS devices for $12.99. It also works on M Series Macs, so you can get it for your iPhone, iPad. It is a semi-modular synth, so it's not a complete just modular synth. You've got some, you know, basic synthesis in there as well too. So anyway, you can use it in all your DAWs, AUv3, standalone. It's just lovely to use. And let's get in and open up a demo. Now I'm going to have to load this up, so I'll come back to me. Wow. So let's make some sounds. I'm just going to open up AUM. And I've got a little project here that I kind of dicked around with last night. We'll load this up. Take me a second to get going. Here it is. So it's all ready to go. This is my little project in AUM. And I've just got 3 instances of SolderBox, and I've just got a kick drum over here with Hammerhead. So I'm going to bring up the sound and shut up and let this speak for itself. All right, now I have no idea what the hell I'm doing, and that's fun because, there you go, boom. Anyone can make some really nice stuff with this. Hello, Ed B. Metal, welcome aboard. Covered by CQ, it's $12.99. So we're going to open it up here in AUM and get rocking. So here it is. You can open this up in two different ways. Yes, you can open up as an instrument up here, plus you can also add it as an AUv3 effect. So if we go in here, you'll see there it is. So you've got two ways that you can load this. You can also play this as a keyboard. You can use your keyboard, on-screen keyboard, or your external keyboard. And you can also run the generator in here, which is the pulse sequencer, and that can generate a whole bunch of randomization stuff, which is just absolutely fantastic. So before we jump into anything, this is the interface. It is separated into two sections. Depending on what size you make this, it will depend on how it actually operates. So you can see it moves around quite well with shapes and sizes. And with the new AUM, it's pretty damn cool with going full screen. So there are two sections. This is your top section, and this is obviously your patch bay section, where you can get really into the weeds and all that stuff. We're going to cover some of that today and show you my journey with it, but we'll start off up here. Give me a sec. Okay, so of course there are presets, and presets are going to be one of the ways that are going to help you understand how to use this. Why? Because a lot of them use the patch bay down the bottom. You can find the presets down in the bottom corner here where it says presets. It'll open up the preset pack. So there are a bunch of sections here. We've got, let me just group these together. Abstract will create generative sounds, and so will generative. So lump these two together. They are pretty much going to create generative stuff. AUFX is when you're using this as an effect. So if you put this just in the instrument slot and try and use one of these, it's not going to make any sound, yeah? These are used for effects, patches. And the last one is instruments. Now this is where you're able to attach a keyboard and just play a whole bunch of sounds on your keyboard, yeah? So there's your basic setup. You've got user presets here. Pretty easy to understand how to use a preset section. Save your preset. You can import presets if you've got another iPad or whatever. Bring them in, create brand new banks, all completely up to you. If you want to go back to the initial patch, click on instrument and you'll see an init up here that you can always click and bring back if you get lost and all of that stuff. You've got a quick save down here, which is pretty cool. So if you hit that, it's going to make a quick save into this section here in your user presets, and it just saves you time and hassle if you just want to keep making music and just want to quickly save something. We've got a trigger button down here. Every time I click this, it's going to trigger a different note. So every time I click it, we're getting something different happening. Let me hit a knit one more time. So every time we're hitting this, there's a different sound coming out of that. So there's your trigger button. Now this is a mono synth, remember that. But we have a polyphonic button down here, which is 3 polyphonics. Let's come over here and connect a keyboard to it. So I'm going to connect my, turn on my keyboard. That would be a really good idea. There's my Arturia. Show you a split. Going to give it a bit of volume. So pretty nice sound off the bat. Let me explain to you now that we've got our initial patch running. Let's talk about the entropy section over here first. This is important to understand. It is a delay, so there are no real effects built into this at all except for this delay. But it's a delay with kind of, well, it's a Jakob Haq delay, isn't it? When he wanted a delay, he wanted something a little bit zesty, a little bit tasty, and he's asked for something to be a little bit zesty with some distortion in there. So you'll notice when I hit this, you'll hear this tail of distortion. Okay, so now this is controlled, you've got a left and right. You can sync these together. So this is your left delay. and your right delay. So you can set different times for the delay, or you can lock them. Now remember, if you've moved these to separate times and then you hit lock, they are going to stay locked into that kind of pattern. So if you unlock and, I don't know, bring these all back down to 0 and then lock, then they're going to move together as in unison with their delays. To turn on the delay, basically, you've got a decay here, yeah? Let's turn everything down. So we can still hear a little bit of distortion in there. Let's just... Oh, I'll tell you why that is. I've got this connected. Whoops. There we go. So there you go. Very basic sound. We turn up the decay. Let's just lock these together. Take out that decay, and that distortion's gone. Yeah, so just realize in that decaying sound, you've got that distortion in there. Obviously, our VCA is the overall output. So everything heads into in modular synth, the VCA is the output. So all these modules, the oscillators, shapers, LFOs, everything is going all into the output here. So this is your overall volume. And down here we have this EG pulse. So this is, what does this stand for? Envelope generator. So we have an envelope generator, and I need to explain the chain of how this works. This we're just focusing on this top bit for now. So this is all organized into normalization. And over to the right here, you can see the chain of how things work. So the VCO, otherwise the oscillator over here, and all these are color-coded. Just look underneath. See here, we've got these colors underneath here. And so you can tell the blocks under here, and even the knobs with the little where you're turning is color-coded down here. So everything's nicely color-coded so you know what's going on. The VCO goes into the shaper. Here's the shaper. The shaper goes into the filter. The filter goes into the VCA, which is here, the volume out. And the envelope generator is the last thing that goes back into the VCA. So you can see the arrows pointing down, and then this one's going in here. So there we go. So this is pre-patched. It's all set. It's running in an order. It's running from here to here to here into the VCA, and the EG is going into the VCA. And it's bypassing a whole bunch of these. Yeah, it's bypassing the LFO, the utility, and the pulse sequencer. So just so you know, that is how we're generating sound with the keyboard right now. Yes? So let's start by coming over here to our first oscillator, the VCO. We can tune this. Now you'll see everything's connected. So this VCO is connected to an FM. All right, you can see a little line underneath here connecting them. We can tune this. Yeah, so pretty standard. If you know what how an oscillator works. Underneath that, we have a button here. Hey, Spider, what's going on? We've got sine wave, triangle, square, saw. We've got a super saw in here, and sine. So those are your waveforms, but don't think that's not much because it gets pretty juicy. We've got an FM detune, FM here. Go a bit low. You want to get those Sega sounds? You're going to get them. You can get anything you want, you know, crazy stuff. Triangle. Square. Saw. And our super saw. Now, when, so this VCO2 here, this works in unison with the FM. So it's a tuning there. So not only do you have tuning here for the main VCO, but our second VCO over here is when it's not patched, when we've got no patches running down here, this works in unison with our FM, yeah? So we've got a glide as well. Portamento, yeah, so you're going to get glide between keys, and that's pretty much that. So we'll just click the glide off. We'll bring this here. We'll hold on to this sound for now. Pull that volume down a little bit. Here is our shapers. So this is the next section it's going to go through. Yeah? Now, you have a whole bunch of options here. You've got folding. So this is folding the waveform. I really should have open over here just to show you what's going on. Let's do this. We'll open up oscilloscope just so you can see what's going on with the, can we go in here and do a shrink this down a bit just so you can see what's happening. This, we'll make this a little bit smaller. Make this a little bit smaller. We don't need this to be big. You can sit over in the corner. There we go. Just so you can see the waveforms changing, yeah? So if we come back over here and we'll just pull all this back to normal. Now you can see when I hit a note there, we're getting a sine wave, yeah? When we change it to a triangle, you can see the triangle in that corner over there. Square. So we're getting an understanding of what these sine waves are, you know? So you know a sine wave's a wobbly one, you got a triangle, obviously sharp, all that kind of stuff. When we come over to our shapers here, this is where things get interesting because we can fold the sound in here, right? So we're wave shaping this with our shaper. I'm just going to pull that volume down a little bit. And when we click down here, you can change this to a bend, to a poly. You've got an overdrive and a reduce. So this is like a lo-fi. We'll come back to noise in a moment. We're going to move on to our low-pass filter. You know, I think most people know what a low-pass filter is. We pull this down, there's no sound. You can hear it's very low in there. This opens up the filter when you turn it up. And we've got 4 options here of poles. You can get a really big filter going on. Let's pull out that shaper. So you've got 6, 1, 12, 18. So you can filter to your heart's content. You've got a resonance. So you want to get some really squealy sounds and all that you get. You can do all of that. We've got modulation down here. This is for the envelope generator, and we've got a drive. So we can add some filth to our filter as well. Let's bring this. So lots of lovely filter options there. I'm just going to double tap, bring all that back to how it was. Pretty much we're just using this as a standard keyboard at the moment. Nothing that's going to melt your brain. Then we're going to cut over here to our VCA. And obviously we have our envelope generator. So we have a rise and fall. Think about this as your attack and delay, I guess. Right, decay. So we bring this all the way down. Good fun. All good fun until someone gets hurt in the end, isn't it? Lovely. Also, we can add some sustain to this by turning on our little sustain button. And you're just going to get a little bit more sustain here. Let's talk about the curve. So we pulled it on the curve. It's going to shorten that, even with the sustain on. Let's take out that sustain. And we have this loop button, which once activated just starts looping. So I can go in here and start playing notes. If I play a few notes, it's just going to start looping them. How cool is that? So we haven't even touched any of these patches down here. Haven't even got down to this nonsense yet. Turn off the loop button and we're ready to play again. Let's bring in some of that delay. Just going to match these up. All right, let's try and get into this other stuff of patching, which, you know, is I'm utterly, completely scared about doing, but I shouldn't be, should I? Because here's the thing. Let's talk about some presets so you can see some of these things in action, and then we'll talk about how easy Jakob and Bram Bos have made this with this just this shading here to understand where the ins and the outs are. I think this is one of the things that confuses a lot of people. I know in software, other modular software I've looked at, I just don't know which one goes into which socket. That's what she said. Boom. But to actually see down here, these are outs. Anything that is lightly colored down here is an out, and anything that is dark is an in. So obviously, you're going to go from an in to an out, and it's going to make sense. We'll cover all these wires and how they work soon, but let's quickly dive into some presets. So of course, as I mentioned, we've got abstract stuff. So this is generative stuff, yeah? Now straight away, look at all those cables. What I would like is some way to flick through these without having to open the presets. That would be cool. So what I love about this is for generative stuff, soundscapes, just terror like this, it's made for that. Would I use it as a synth? Probably not. For doing this stuff, absolutely. And I think there's well over 100 and something patches in here made by Jakob and Bram Bos. I love the title of this one, The Zipper Orchestra. It does sound like a zipper. It's not wrong. Now remember, at any time you want to kill this, we can come back to our instrument and just hit init and we're back to 0. So while we're back at 0, it is our halfway point of the show and I'm going to run an ad. Let's do that now. Come over here. You can avoid the ad by becoming a YouTube Premium subscriber or by just skipping the ad and we'll wait for you to come back. Where is it? I'll click the ad. The ad has been run. And while I'm waiting, I'll let you know that tomorrow, coming up, not tomorrow, yeah, is it tomorrow? Wow, it is tomorrow. Coming up on this show, after Thomas Christ and before Pete Johns and Brad Example and all the amazing artists that are happening tomorrow, I am doing my Mr. Bungle tribute, the first show for 2025. And, yeah, it's going to be great fun. If you like Mr. Bungle, you like crazy music, come along, watch. I'll probably lose my shit. Oh, yeah. All right, let's bounce back into this and run through some more of these presets. So we also have a generative section here. Again, these are generative sounds. So those first ones in the abstract, obviously more abstract. These are more melodic. Just beautiful. And yeah, you put a nice reverb on this. Damn straight. Let's take that reverb out so you can hear the natural sounds. So just pay attention to these patches changing down the bottom here. Not all of them are a spaghetti mess, yeah? Like that one. Look at that. Now, obviously, I'm not going to go through all these patches today because there's heaps of them for you to explore. And these instrument patches, let's just come up here and hit a init. So with the instrument patches, if you've got a keyboard connected, like we do, you can hear some of these sounds. So we've got acid bass. Now remember, you can make drums with this. You've got all the power to make hi-hats, kicks, snares, anything you pretty much want. And there's heaps and heaps of patches in here for you to mess about with and find out more. Let's hit the init one more time and talk about all this stuff down here. So, where shall I start? Where shall I start? Well, the good thing is these are all colored coded to the same things here, yeah? So let's talk, we've got our VCO, and you can see here the VCO is straight underneath. We've got our VCO CVs, and they match up. So we've got VCO1, VCO2, and our FM amount. Here they are, 1, 2, and the FM amount. So these are inputs, yeah? And these are our oscillators out. So these send these out to other places because it's lightly colored. So for example, if I want to send this oscillator somewhere, I can just drag anywhere, just touch on where I want to go and then drag it to where I want to go. Obviously you want to take it from a light to a dark. So if we're going to a filter over here, we can do that if we want. We can move it to pretty much anywhere we want here on the board. And it can go back the other way as well. So it can go from the shaper to the oscillator. It just depends on where you drag it. And it's dictated by the color. So if I'm dragging from here, you'll see the color of the cable is different from going from the other way. We'll remove that over here. Okay, and you may be like, but what's the difference? And it does make a difference from where it's going, back or forward, yeah? So it can make a difference. Let's just remove this. You can also have multiple cables running out. So just say from this quantize out over here, I drag this over from an out quantize into our VCO1, and I might want to drag this into our VCO2 as well. If you hold down, it creates a second cable, and you can drag that out. Now, this doesn't work with all things. I don't think I've had some instances where it doesn't won't let me do it twice, but you can have heaps of them. You can send heaps of these out, 3 of them if you want. Over here, you can just keep going and going. We'll leave that one in there. Drag. You can keep making multi patches from the same place, defying physics, but in a lot of modular synths, they have these things called multi-outs, which allow you to do that and break up the signal. But with this, it's all been nicely packaged into here. So let's remove some of these, or just get rid of them. I want to start off today by talking about the pulse sequencer over here, because this is where the generative stuff works, and this is where I really have had the most fun making stuff with this pulse sequencer. And as you can see, we've got, with the pulse sequencer, we have these 3 sections here, the pulse LFO. Now, the science behind this is, I'm not explaining it because I don't fully know, but a lot of this app is made up of LFOs. There's LFOs everywhere that are creating a lot of these sounds, and the pulse sequencer is no different. We have a pulse LFO here, and there's 3 knobs, and this controls 3 different sections, right? So, and this controls the speed. So when it's down low, it's going to be slow, and when it's up, it's going to be a faster speed. Now, this is all generative. The pitch CV controls the pitch. But like, you're probably wondering, well, is there any way to control and quantize this? Because in a modular synth, no, there isn't. But down here, we have a quantizer. When you click on this very familiar thing that you'd see, you can choose a scale. So I can choose a pentatonic major, and the keys are chosen. I can choose a D pentatonic major, or you can come in here and choose your own notes. and do it your own way if you really want. It's completely up to you how you want to do things. We can hit a minor, D minor, F minor, whatever we want, and that is going to quantize this pulse sequencer. How do we get this making sounds though? Well, this is where the patches come in. So obviously we've got our quantizer in, so we don't want to put anything in that. We want to send this out somewhere. So the obvious thing is to take this out and send it to one of our oscillators. It's not making any sound. It's not doing anything. Why is it not making any sound? Yeah, of course they do. Yeah, so, but you know, I'm talking really old days. Anyway, what do I, look, don't listen to me. I know fuck all. Really. So, but it's not making any sound. And why is it not making any sound? Well, you can see the lights are moving. We can see it's generating something up here, but it's not sending anything to my VCO. So why is that? Well, here's the button I haven't covered today, and this is the drone button. So let's remove this for now. And you can see it's either switched to EG, which is the envelope generator, or on. And when it gets turned to on, it overrides the envelope generator and becomes a drone. And now we're just getting a constant sine wave. But now if I take this quantize out and drag it over into my VCO1, we instantly have melody in the key that we chose. What are we, F minor? And if we turn all these down, you can see they're much slower to react. And let's get some randomization in here. And we're starting to make melody. Over here, this is where we can change the pitch of these notes that are selected within the scale. Exactly, audible video. So now we can come over to our VCO and decide what we want this to sound like. And instantly, we've got something nice already going. So also within this pulse sequencer, we can halve the tempo. There's a little knob here. If we turn this on, it's now going to halve that tempo. Turn it back on, speeds up. We also have next to that a high and low. So if I'm going to turn this on, everything's going to drop an octave. I'm not sure how many octaves, but there we go. Of course, we can change our tones, triangles, squares, supersaws. Now again, I can drag another one of these over into VCO2, and once we have added anything into our VCO2, we now have a second VCO. Let's move on. I'm just going to leave this set up as it is right now, and I want to talk about, so to turn that off, to stop it, yeah, you just turn this off, this drone over here. So from on back over to EG. So also we have a patch bay here for the FM amount. We could put this into a LFO and get that, see, so we're going from an input, we could run an LFO out of here. And now LFO1. So everything is labeled very simply, right? We've got LFO1 up here. LFO, you can see it flashing. This is LFO1 out. It's going into our FM amount, which is this knob here. And now when we turn this on, Our FM should be controlled by the LFO rate. Hopefully. There we go. If we go to sine, you can hear that. Remove that cable. And we're out of there again, yeah? Hello, Bonfire. Tremor Bear, hello to you. All right, let's talk about this wave surgeon here. This is a little bit a thing. So have a look at the diagram with this wave surgeon, yeah? Yeah, for those of you who don't know, EG is like your attack, decay, sustain, release, fixed synth. Yeah, so it's but we'll get to it as much as I can. So this wave surgeon is very interesting. Look at the picture here. If I can zoom in a little bit, see these two little pictures here. You're able to take this and split up this sound between the two VCOs, and what it does is it subtracts part of the waveform and removes it, and then you can split it into two of these. Hard to explain, but let me show you how to do this. So if I've got two VCOs running, if I send this output now from oscillator 1 into surgeon plus and out of here into surgeon minus, we're now going to get a variation of our wave with our wave surgeon here by changing these sounds. Let me just get rid of this. All good. Now, if I put these to 0, so what I've done here, just let me slow down for a second and explain to you. I've connected both of these going out of here into our wave surgeon, and what I've done is put this sum out. So this takes both of the sounds, and I've sent it over to the VCA, which is the final output. We discussed that at the beginning of the show. Here's that VCA, and there's the VCA. So I'm now sending both these, both this generation of sounds, pulses, is going into both VCAs. Then the VCAs are going into the wave surgeon, and the wave surgeon is going out and bypassing all this other stuff, right? But we're not getting any sound at the moment. If I turn this on, there's no sound. Why? Because these are in the middle and they're at 0. They're cancelling each other out. But if we turn one to the left, we're getting half of the waveform. And if we turn the other to the right, now there's no difference between them because they're both set to sine waves. So let me turn that off. So not only can you just send this out here, you can send LFOs, filters, all this stuff into the wave surgeon and create some wild stuff. Again, I am not the best person to go into exactly how all of this stuff works because I still know shit about this. It just is what it is. I'm just trying to give you an overview of stuff. Jacob's video is in the description and pinned to the top there. All right, so what else can we do with this? Well, I don't have to send this all out. So speaking of these wave surgeons, I don't have to send this all out to one place. I can actually send out the plus over here, and I can send the negative somewhere else. I can send it wherever I want. You can split these sounds up. So let's just remove this one. Go away. Go away, my friend. You can send these wherever you want, can mix and match, make it go crazy, do whatever you want. So I've sent this over here to our utility. Now, what is our utility? Think of the utility as a mixer. You've got 3 inputs, 1, 2, and 3. You have outputs, so you can send these elsewhere, wherever you'd like to send them. Yeah. And I'm getting, where was I going to go next? But let's take it out of here. And let's send these into our shapers. So I'm going to remove these cables so we're not getting too confused. I'm going to send this oscillator into our shaper. And now we're controlling our shaper over here. So we're just getting this one oscillator going over here into our shaper. But what if I want to move this shaper and this amount of this fold here and make it add a bit of, you know, movement? We have an LFO out down here. LFO out. We can send this into our shaper amount. And now our LFO is now moving this shaper. So, I'll slow down and hold back a second. Remember, at the start of the show, we talked about this is the setup over here when you first load up. This is the normalization. This is just the basic. VCO into the shaper, into the low pass filter, into the VCA, and the EG is going in here as well. But what's so good about this patch bay is we can override and we can just ignore all of this and create our own craziness and use LFOs. Like send this LFO to move something like this. We can patch anything anywhere we want. It's just wonderful, right? So we could even send this now to, we could send our shaper out of here. Let's go to, I don't know, where do we want to go? What do I want to do next? Let's kill all of this because I want to talk about the filter. There we go. Let's just kill the filter right now. Let's take a look at something like this, with the filter. Let's take an LFO and send this into our filter. And when I turn this on over here to our, let's turn this down. You can hear we've just got a hum going on. So I've sent this LFO out to my filter. Now, if I turn the LFO all the way down, there's no sound. I've got our drone on, there's no sound. But as I turn up the LFO, it should be. Where'd it go? What did I do? Did I mute something? I think I did. There we go. So if I turn up the LFO all the way full, we've got a tone. I should actually have this in here, shouldn't I? There we go. You can see just by sticking things in anything, you can create wild sounds. We've got our resonator. And now we could send this to our resonator and instantly, without doing anything, we've got noise coming out of here. Right? The thing is to not be scared of putting cables in a new hole that you may not understand where it's going. But very easily, we've created something super interesting and we're not even generating any of these pulses or anything, yeah? But when we send a quantize out into here, not only do we have, now we've got a rhythm going under there as well. All right, let's talk about this too. I see your presentation. I'm going to instantly. I do apologize. Let's just kill this with a shield. Awesome. So let's talk about. So with the LFOs also, I know I'm bouncing all over the place today. With the LFO, and I'm going to miss a whole bunch of stuff because I really have to wrap this up. But it's just really trying to get you started. Not be afraid, yeah? Not be afraid. So with the LFOs, we've got 2 LFOs here, and you can sync them as well. So essentially, we've got 3 kind of LFOs. You can use them unsunk, right? So you can change them around like this, and they're not going to be sunk to your door. If we turn this to 1, then LFO 1 is now sunk to the door of 120 BPM, and 2 is free roaming. But if we change this to 1 and 2, then both of them are sunk to the door. So lots of different stuff. And down here, we have 3 outs. So we have an LFO 1 out that you can send somewhere to a filter cutoff, LFO 2 to somewhere else you want to send this to, and you can do 1 and 2 elsewhere as well. So there's plenty to mess around with. And the filter resonate can be tracked by the keyboard. So 4. Yes, that is true as well. Where are we going to go from here? So should I just make some shit? Because look, there's a whole lot of stuff that I'm not going to be able to go into with the utility, because there's depending on how you've got it set up, there's depending on what cables you've got going into what slot here is going to be depending on, there's hidden little knobs within these as well too. So it's I do recommend you go and check out Jakob's video. It's very, very in-depth and full of humor and typical Jakob Haq style. That's why this thing's pretty cool. You know, both Bram Bos and Jakob together is great. I want to talk about the noise quickly before we kind of move out of here. I know I haven't covered everything. So let's just turn on our sound over here. And here's our noise generator. I'm going to take the output. Here's our noise out and drag this into the VCA in. And there's our noise. So hopefully you caught what I did there. Here's our noise out into VCA in. This is the output. And now we can hear what this noise does. We can go into Geiger counter. Now it covers a massive spectrum of noise. You can hear as we drag through this. And of course, LFOs can influence the noise level. We can choose like a sample and hold in here. So you've got noise now, randomization. I'm going to show you a preset that I put together instead. Let's go over here to show you this noise preset I made. So these are the patches the cables I put together to make this. So we've got a randomizing noise sound. Now the randomization section can be found over here. You've got two randoms, output randoms. And again, I would watch Jakob's video. But when connected, randomization when turned down, it's going to give you nothing. And as you turn it up, with this particular one, I'm running LFOs. So lastly, let's clear this out. I've done my best to explain honestly, not a modular person, but the fun I've had just making random shit has been really, really cool. And we're going to close out with me just trying to make something interesting, right? Just from scratch. Now, just again, one last thing. We talked about this drone over here, turning this on and off. You can actually create sounds and rhythms by using the envelope generator. So hopefully I can work out how I did this. Did I do it right? Yeah. So we've got our envelope generator out. And if we turn on our loop up here, I'm sending the envelope generator out to our VCO. And I've turned on this loop. And you can hear we're generating sounds from here. Just going to put this in number 2. So what I've done here is mix the two sounds. We're running the pulse sequencer, the envelope generator into the VCE 1 and 2. The oscillators are coming out into this mixer and then coming out to the we can take this further, yeah? We can remove this, remove these, and let's send these oscillators into our surgeons, and then these out. But I know what you're thinking. You haven't shown me how to use this as an effect. When you load it as an effect, you'll notice up here, it becomes external audio. you have a whole bunch of presets. Let's just use these and see what these do to my sound. So we've created our sound in the instrument patch, and now we've added SolderBox as an effect to take these sounds somewhere else. But again, it's all up to you how you want this to work, yeah? So we can do things like we can quantize these out. We can turn on the drones. Which one are we running? We're running this one. We'll just go back to a preset here. And we'll just mute this for a second because you can use this with anything, remember? So I could quickly come in here at a MIDI channel, at a piano, right? And just quickly throw in like we'll do like a harmony bloom. If it decides to load for us, there we go. We'll send this out to Piano Tech, create a random sound, hook it up. And we can add SolderBox as an effect on here. Oops. We want to add the right app, don't we? So it can be used with anything, yeah? All right, I think we're good. I'm going to open it up just to get out of here and make something fun, just nice and quick. And then I'll say goodbye to you all and let you get on with your day. Look, it's an incredible app, and I know for anyone who doesn't use modular synth like myself, yeah, it can be a little bit overwhelming. You can look at it and go, I don't really understand this. But basically you can see you don't have to freak out too much. You do have these sounds that come here. You've got a lot of presets. My suggestion 100% more than anything is load up a preset, look at it, see what it's doing. Look where things are going. Move things around inside the preset. Add things if you want. Just don't be afraid of it. So let's throw something together. I'm going to start where I started last time. I'm going to just throw our quant out over here and turn on our drone and just get something rocking with some sounds. right, folks, have a great day. $12.99 on the App Store. It's rad. I could never do it as much justice as Jakob Haq has on his video. So please go and do that. Support Jakob, support Bram Bos. They make great stuff. And I'm out of here for today. Remember, do the things that make you happy. Mistakes make you better. And we'll all rise together. We'll see you tomorrow for Mr. Bungle Live. And on the rant this week will be, what is a studio? Let's Oj. See you later.